roundtable professionals in the real estate industry is more about business, but it's also trying to help the generation coming, and also to ensure that as much as possible, some of those stories we think are just normal to us, we don't realize that it does a lot for others. So it's basically just impact, vulnerable conversation.
There's even a bigger problem that needs immediate attention. Housing is too basic of a human need that people should not have to worry about it too much. Someone that works on the island in Lekki or VI or Ikoyi, but stays on the mainland,
yes,
that far, and have to spend 4 hours, 5 hours, to commute to work on a daily basis, is looking for, would I still be going through this stress for the next 5 years of my life?
Yeah, so Tunde, nice having you on the roundtable. We've had friendship and business and collaborations and all sorts, for years, and we felt that you were a perfect guest to bring to such a program. Now, for me, our conversations are more vulnerable, and most of our audience are young professionals and people that want to start up businesses. So I think I'll start with that story. There's this story you have about your sojourn in Thailand and how you also looked at how you could bring that solution to Nigeria. So I can just put us through that before we just get into some of the nitty-gritty.
Okay, so that story is really just my experience living abroad and how I engaged with housing all the years I lived abroad. When I moved back to Nigeria, Thailand was the last country I lived in, where I spent 5 years there. My first real estate company started in Thailand. I was Unique Edge Management, was managing luxury properties to the tune of about 200 in our portfolio, where the full management, rental, and all of that vacation rental business largely wasn't with, So I had access to, a lot of high-end properties, and that really just exposed me to quality, also quality living, how real estate could be done. And moving back to Nigeria and see that we are world apart, from not just even architecture or design or functionality of space, but also in consumption, which is how people rent, how people buy homes, right? So when I looked at all of that, I moved back with the vision to go into development, really. I felt like that was really where I could really express myself, my creativity and all of that based on the experience I've had, right? But then I discovered that, okay, there is even a bigger problem that needs immediate attention, which is at the lowest level, rental. Everything starts with rental. Before you become a homeowner, you're probably renting at one point or the other, right?
Yes.
And there's more people looking to rent than looking to buy.
Yeah, you have more tenants than owners.
Yes, exactly. So, and if we can power rental properly and make it a more flexible and more conducive solution for people, then it directly affects the viability and the quality of our economy, and also quality of living for people. So that was why we started Rent Small first, right? I had a good mentor who is a Thai billionaire.
Yes, you told me about.
Yes, I had gone back to him before I founded or Rent Small. I moved back in 2015. I did some research. I went to Thailand for a month in 2016. And when I went back, I had requested to meet him. And just shared some of my findings with him. And this guy was also a pioneer in the 70s in Thailand. He literally was the one that brought their whole housing solution, building terraces and family homes and all of that to meet the needs of Thai people in that age and time when he started, right? So, he just said, he acknowledged the problem I've identified and encouraged me that I should really go for tackling the rental problem first rather than the old development. Even he was a developer, one of the biggest Apex, one of the biggest developer in Thailand, right? With high-rise, 50-something story buildings, 60-something story building, and all of that. And these are all luxury projects, right? From his company. But speaking to in Nigeria, a country that he doesn't have any idea about, but understanding that this problem is what I was trying to solve, and then taking from his own, where he started from, he just really say, go after this. And that's what we did. And that's what we've been doing for the past 6 going to 7 years.
Great. So 6 to 7 years. I mean, this also speaks to mentorship. You know, it's also good that it's sort of like a global mentorship kind of, and it tells you that what you can do. You've seen an example of what you can do. You know, so I just want to go into disruption. We've been discussing. We even have an academy and some classes on disruptive strategy, and clearly, this is a very good example of disruption, because, and in Nigeria, Africa, by the way. So in terms of what's your view about what you've done and disruption? You know, disruption normally is seen as giving access to a certain cadre that normally would not have that access, you know, and lowering the barrier, so to speak, so you have a lot more people coming in, you know, and it indirectly disrupts the market, so to speak. So can you tell us, particularly with rent small, and you can delve a little bit into buy small, because my next question is going towards buy small.
So, I mean, disruption is, the way sometimes disruption work is that you have the people that don't want disruption, you know, because they want to protect an existing system, you know, to their own benefit. And you have the people that they don't see it as, I'm looking for disruption or disruptive solution, but they just see it, I'm looking for a solution. You know, someone that works on the island in Lekki or VR or Ikoyi, but stays on the mainland, probably stays in, let's say, Ikeja, Ogba, or stays in Yanopaja, you know, that far, but has a decent income and have to spend 4 hours, 5 hours on, you know, to commute to work on a daily basis, right? Is looking for, how long will I do this? You know, will I still do this? We're going through this stress for the next 5 years of my life. He's thinking of his productivity. Like, by the time I've spent 3 hours getting to work in the morning, you know, and I'm tired in the process, how productive can I be at work? I'm probably feeling sleepy because they have to wake up early, you know, in order to get to work on time. You know, office opens 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and you have 3 hours on the road. You have to wake up 4 or 3 and you got home late, you know. So that person is thinking, what is the way forward, right? So the disruption in this case is that, oh, if you have decent income, you can stay in maybe Yaba, or even Lekki Phase 1, you know, you have this, because you don't have to spend 3 hours anymore. Your work might be, so in our own case with Rent Small, we saw people that were within walking distance. You know, a beautiful story I like to tell is a young guy got a job with one of the leading fintech company in Flutterwave precisely, you know, was based in Ilorin, you know, top of his class, just finished university, needed to move to Lagos and didn't have the 1 year upfront to pay rent, and also did not have any relative to stay with temporarily, right? Yeah. And then went online, discovered that he could pay his rent monthly, you know, and you know, he only just need to pay 1 month's rent and first month security deposit, and he has a good job, Flutterwave for that matter, right? And Flutterwave office is in Lekki Phase 1. The guy got a studio apartment in Lekki Phase 1, you know. Beautiful. And it was a walking distance to work. Wow. Just imagine starting life that way. And we need to give our young people that head start, whereby he can
lose the opportunity.
Oh, he would have lost that opportunity. He would have lost that opportunity. Imagine if we can give more people that head start in life, whereby the things that you should not have to worry about, you are not worrying about them, right? And housing is too basic of a human need that people should not have to worry about it too much. And the way to that is by disrupting the existing traditional model, right? And birthing new flexible solution that allow people to access it and lowering the barrier. And I mean, what we've done is not rocket science, really, because it's the norm in most part of the world, allowing people pay rent monthly, you know. So for buy small, it's still the same thing, right? Mortgage in Nigeria is expensive. You know, you have all these layers of fees you need to pay, you know, and we've just said that, you know what, even if you are not, I mean, we are, the buy small, the way we've done it, or our initial sell to the market is an investment product where you buy property, we put tenants in it, you don't have to worry about the tenants, and we give you guaranteed rent.
So as an investor.
So that's how we've structured it, even though we've seen a spill whereby people that are buying, that want to live in it, are now doing it, right? But most of our customers are people that buy and they want to earn rental income, or they want the rent to help offset part of the payment, which is what mortgages, for people that buy mortgages, and it's not property they live in, right? But the disruption in that is really that, instead of thinking 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, which is what most people largely think about when they are thinking of owning their first real estate, right? They are not thinking of starting small, studio or 1-bedroom. Exactly. So we started packaging available 1-beds and studios, and not so many developers. I mean, Homework is one of the companies that have also really double down on providing units. I remember your Orchid property, the one inside Buena Vista.
Yes,
if I'm correct, 1-bedroom, lofts and all of that, right? So you have also been a pioneer in that space of introducing 1-beds and studio units into the market, right? So we package these units for these people. The barrier is lower, the cost barrier is lower, because I'm not thinking 4-bedroom now, which is more expensive, right?
Yes, and that's the repayment is also lower.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one. Secondly, we're putting the tenant in it, and then the rental income also is helping you to offset the balance on that property, right? Before you know it, the stories we have today is like landlords that started with us when we launched in 2021 and bought their first property. They have 3-4 properties with us today, and that is a beautiful journey for me, that you started with 1, you have 3 with us, you have 4 with us, and it's really, there's no limit to how far you can go. If your vision is to own 50 properties for whatever, you can, because real estate is such a dynamic and very interesting that one unlocks the next one for you if you do it right. And we want to help people do it right. That's why we're not just directing people, we are providing guidance for them as well. And we are doing it through partners, because it's not only, we have some of our own portfolio properties, but we also have partners like Homework that we onboard their properties and make these units available to our customers.
Yeah, great. So collaboration is key. So that brings me to the question on buy small. I think you've said a bit about it, but I recall that there was some of the adverts that had you have people come as low as 4,000 and stuff. Can you try and explain, because I'm sure a lot of people might not even understand and or even know that is available. Employees of a company, people that have little earnings and are looking at how to work, because once you hear mortgage, you fringe. So how does that work?
So again, I think the biggest thing in all of this is the aspiration to own homes. I think there's that aspiration in all of us. And I think where that aspiration comes from is how we think of land. Owning you can have children, you can have cars, you can have anything beautiful. But one of the things that speaks to the essence of being on this earth is owning a piece of the earth. Yes. And how do you own a piece of the earth is land, because what makes up of the earth is land. There are other things that make up of the earth. You have water, but land essentially, for us humans, owning a piece of land speaks to the fact that we own a piece of the earth, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to be here forever, but for a lot of people also, when they are not here, something to pass on to their upcoming generation or their heritage, right? I think that is also the concept of owning a piece of the earth, right? And the barrier is high because, what are the ways to own a piece of the earth? You buy a property or you buy a land, right? How many people can afford land if you are not going to your village to buy a land and you probably don't want to live in your village? You want to stay, maybe in the city that you are working and all of that. You want to own a piece of that city, right? So what we've done is, create a co-ownership product that allow people to own a piece of a property. Really, we don't do land at small. Own a piece of a property through co-ownership. Our goal initially, under buy small, we have what we call buy to co-own, which is a package under buy small. And buy small have different package. We have buy now, pay later. We have buy to let, and we have buy to co-own. Buy to co-own allows you buy shares in a property. And then the way we initially structured it was to take you on a journey whereby you accumulate shares over a period of time, and then you put all those shares together and use it as down payments to own your own property, right? But we've changed the model recently because in as much as I believe that's a beautiful model, and it's the economy is also not encouraging, because by the time you buy shares 4 years and you have all these shares together and you want to do a down payment on a property, what's the value of any property 4 years from now? You think of, property that you're thinking that today, the down payment you need is maybe 10, 50 million. 4 years from now, the down payment is probably going to be like 50 million or 60 million. Considering, the appreciation, how high cost is going right now. So we've looked at that model and say, you know what, we don't want to promise anything that 4 years down the line we are not able to really deliver on, or we're able to only deliver on for few people, right? So why don't we create, actually allow these people to own this, and they can exit at any time and all of that. So we've now switched so there's Buy to Co-own 2.0 that just launched. We've not announced it to the public, just our existing customers. So we've put it to them for them to upgrade into this new model, whereby they convert all their shares on the former model to this new model, and they now solely own these units with other co-owners. The other model, there's an exit date, and that exit date means that we sell the property whether you are ready or not, and you can get your money or you can buy other shares and all of that. But with this model, all of you guys have sole ownership rights to the property, and you can vote on when you want to exit, when the property should be sold, and everybody gets their return and all of that. So we've structured it, and our platform has also been structured in that way. And I think that way, so what we've done also is giving them control. You control when you want to exit. You control how much money you want to make. So you guys decide when or if the property has reached the milestone appreciation that you guys want on the property. You control that. So they also earn rental income. The previous model doesn't allow rental income, because that's what we use to service the whole maintenance of the property and all of that. But with this model, we're giving ownership to them.
So they can do.
It's
just more people owning one. What you'll have done with your one property.
Yes.
All of you can do
that's really what the beauty of co-ownership. And I think we're going to see more adoption of co-ownership as property cost of property rises and the barrier becomes higher. Innovative solution like this, flexible solution like this is what people need to be open to, rather than waiting forever until you have the bulk money. You might never have the bulk money. That's the reality. But when you start small, which is why we say that small is not just a name, it's a way. Before we launched small as a company, before we became small as a company, Nigerians already know the small way. Yes. From big tin milk to sachet milk, from bottled water to pure water. Yes. All of that speaks to that just small. From maybe a can of pepper, dry pepper, to putting it in small liner that you can buy at Malam. That small, we've all experienced it one way or the other, and it's a progressive way, really.
Yes, very, very good concept. So again, I'll just take this to the fact that we are in Nigeria. You guys, I think it was about 2 years ago that you guys raised, for seed rounds and all that. We have a lot of people doing it. You have a lot of people failing. You have the fact that, let's even leave the entire Forex issues. Let's even go to the fact that, you have companies that go out there and try to seek for funds. You've gone through that process. What will you say were the selling points for small? What will you say? Because we're saying this for the benefit of those that might want to do it, but then again, also understanding what they need to do. Because I also feel that a lot of people do not really do their research properly, because it's an opportunity to just jump on, cash. You see a lot of them fail, and you say, oh, this company had to do this and they had to shut down and all that. You guys have been in it for quite a while, and I also do know that. I'm not sure I heard about any other property company, but I know that you guys hit the highest in terms of PropTech. So can you just put us through the salient points? And I'm saying this on a more broader scope, not necessarily properties. But for you, what would you say were those pointers that stood you out?
So I think one of the advantage we had was a lot of our investors are a believer in the problem we are solving. So there are different ways you can raise money, right? The VC world is typically a world where they want to put in money and have 1,000x return. Whether you're coming at the pre-seed, which is very angel level, or seed level or series level, right? It's all about how much X can I get back on my money, right? And sometimes businesses end up going or raising funds from the wrong investors because they see a problem that, yes, there's a market for it, for the solution, and the size of the market as well, and the founders are very good at selling the solution, not just to the market but also to investors. That this is where we're going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, and all. So great, they did their job with their pitch, and all of that. And in some cases, you don't even have to say too much. Your traction and all of that can even speak for yourself, or the market can speak for you, right? And you have those investors that give you money, but they also have expectation, and in most cases, their expectations are high. They want to see how well the company is doing, the progress you are making, right? But now, in the context of our country, there are a lot of forces that come at this country that can turn things, overnight for you. Like really, really turn things around overnight, right? So when things are happening that way, then it puts pressure on the business. It puts pressure on the model itself, even the model that you're running. Your model can, economic activity or changes can happen in a country like Nigeria that will make a waste or make a mess of your model overnight. So, and if you are not ready for those changes, or you don't have the infrastructure or the resources, human resources, or the talent to be able to navigate those changes, right? You'll be shocked that a company that raised $50 million can die within a 12 months. And there are companies that have died within that short time, 12, 24 months, and they've raised crazy amount of money, and you're wondering, where did all the money go? It's not because the founder stole the money. It's not there are founders that are also known that have lived excessive, live large and all of that. But I think in most cases, it's not even because of that. It's because of certain changes that really they were not prepared for, and really rocked the boat quickly. In our own case, I think what has really helped us was raising money from believers. Just as we have landlords that are believers, I think a lot of our investors are also, because we're not the ideal, beautiful darling of what typical a solution investors would like to throw money at. And that's why, check PropTech. How many PropTech has raised money in Africa? When we raised $3 million in 2022, it was the highest PropTech raise in Africa. That year. The next year was the only time, I think it's Egypt. Yes, a PropTech company in Egypt that raised $5 million, which is probably the highest as of today, right? When you're talking about fintech that they've raised 200. What's it called? MoneyPoint just announced 150. Flutter River has raised $250 million, and all of that. So it's not really a beautiful bride that you see and you want to throw money and you are frolicking around. So it has to be people that really believe in the problem that you're solving. They love the problem. They are passionate about the problem. They understand the fundamental of solving this problem, and they are willing to back you. And when you have those type of investors, they are willing to wait. That's what you call patient investors, right? They are not putting pressure on you in any way or form, right? And that is what we have.
No, that's also helpful.
Yeah, very helpful, because at times I get really busy that I'm not sending updates at the time I'm supposed to send it. And with typical industry or sector, when you don't do that, they are already knocking and asking for the updates, right? But when I haven't sent updates like that, I probably have one or two that are just checking on me to say, oh, is everything okay and all of that. In some cases, they will not even, wait for me to send it because they know I will send it, right? So that reduces the pressure in a way, and we also understand our journey, and even how we sold ourselves from, we already sold, we didn't oversell it. our sell was that, this is a problem that exists and has existed for decades. This is a solution, and the solution is also not going to wipe out the problem just like that. It's going to take time, and as long as we have the right team, we are hungry enough, we have our passion matches the passion of our investors in terms of how they see problem. I think all of that working together will eventually get us somewhere, and that is what is working for us. That how we've been able to go from just being a rent small to buy small, and now to the new product that we have, which I believe is really going to make all these years that we've poured into small, bring it together and really make us a $1 billion company.
Yeah, so can you give us an insight on the new product?
Okay, so the product is Fair by Small, so it's still a small product, but for ease of calling, we call it Fair App. So FAIR, Fair, and the whole idea about Fair, when we even initially thought about, before we thought of creating a product out of it, it was more of like, understanding the economic situation in Nigeria today, whereby cost of living has really skyrocketed. People can't access their daily needs. And then my marketing team came to me and said that, can we organize like a fair, where people, before we built up to becoming a fair, the initial idea was a podcast, where we can bring businesses that are also providing instrumental payments across different industry, bring them into a conversation, to talk about how instrumental payments can help people live better and how it can help them meet their needs, and that we are not the only one providing instrumental payments. We are doing it in housing, rental,
so
and there are other sector, travel and all of that, yes. Right? So that we should have a podcast. And I was like, brilliant idea. Initially, I was like, podcast is abused. Everybody is doing podcasts, but the reason why I said yes to it was because of how novel and how niche it was, how niche the solution or the conversation is going to be, yes. Which is, instrumental payments, businesses that are providing it, right? And then we started, we had the likes of CDK, the likes of Wakana on the podcast, we had the likes of, even in the education, so we covered about 5, the first season covered about 5 companies across 5 different industries, right? And then we immediately saw that, beyond just having this conversation and promoting instrumental payments, making people know that this company and businesses exist, we can also have a fair where we introduce not just these businesses, but other businesses, that provide instrumental payments to come to the fair and exhibit, and we do a massive promotion on it, and people know that, you can actually pay instrumentally for it. So we thought of the fair, but as we're thinking about the fair, then it jumped on us that there are a lot of businesses that also want to provide instrumental payment, but they don't know how to, they don't have the infrastructure to provide instrumental payment. They are thinking of what are the safety net for them if somebody take my product and how can I? So yes, exactly. So we thought of we've done it, in rent small, buy small all these years. We can actually be an infrastructure provider, especially for businesses that want to provide instrumental payment and are thinking of how they are going to do it, and the layer of protection, security, and all of that. So the idea of we need to build a product, because beyond the events, people will definitely still want to engage these businesses, be also businesses that don't have that infrastructure. So that was how the idea of Fair App or Fair by Small came about, right? And we had the podcast, the first season, 5 companies, we're about to start the second season now. We had the fair, small fair. We had it on the 17th of August. We had very successful. We had over about 100 businesses, that exhibited at the fair. We had massive promotion, we were on about 30 billboards across Lagos and even outside Lagos, radio. We brought some of the businesses on interview on radio, just to even promote their business and all of that, right? But now we have the Fair App, which a lot of these businesses are vendors on the Fair App. So Fair App is a marketplace for instrumental payments, so if you are looking to buy, our goal is everything and anything, just like Amazon, and that's why we are thinking it to be the Amazon of Africa. The only difference is just that it's going to be driven by credit, instrumental payments. But when you think of it as a marketplace, you are thinking Amazon of Africa, where everything and anything can find it there. And it's going to be powered by vendors, right? So Rent Once More is going to be on it as a vendor. Buy Once More is going to be on it as a vendor. They still continue to stand as their own products within the company, but they are going to be a vendor. So we have like groceries now available on the Fair app, so people can buy groceries and pay instrumentally for groceries, and they would get delivered. We have electronics, gadget, appliances that people can buy on the Fair app and pay instrumentally for them, and they will get delivered. We are doing free delivery right now. Every first product that you buy on Fair app, you get free delivery, and then we also do free delivery on certain products.
So the financing of that, how does that work? Is it the companies that try to finance it, being that they have instrumental payments? And because obviously you also want to hold the person that to know that, with Rent Small Small and Buy Small Small, I already know the things you guys put in place. I'm not talking about this generally. How do you ensure, is it that there are options of credits? Maybe the companies that can offer that credit are there, or is it the companies themselves that are giving that?
So we have, again, because it's still early stage, so there's a lot of flexibility around how we're thinking about it. A marketplace is a marketplace. That means that you can only create framework, but it can't be one framework, because you have different type of people that come to the marketplace, different vendors, different buyers, right? So yes, exactly. So the model, we have 3 models right now. There is pay upfront and collect your good. That is also there because it's a marketplace, right? And vendor can select that. There's the second model, which is I'm going to give you time, 5 months, 3 months, to pay the money before I send the product to you. So we have that as well. And then we have the third model, which is that, I pay a down payment today based on what the vendor wants, and then the vendor is confident enough to send the product to me, and then the vendor gives me a window of time to pay.
Whatever caution and whatever boxes you have to tick for that to happen is the business of the company. But they provide it anyway.
Exactly.
So I know Wakana has that. Get your ticket, but you buy
it. Exactly. So we've structured it in that way for vendors to find it very friendly, but we also are coming in from different angle. First of all, to provide that safety net in terms of quality buyers, right? So they go through verification, and there are different layers of verification, even to your BVN, being able to access funds that you have in different accounts and all of that, your ID, verification and whatever. So beyond that also, we have insurance in place, should you default. So we have insurance in place. Also, we have third-party financiers that we are plugging into the system as well. And the reason why is, should a vendor say maximum payment plan I can allow is 3 months, but you need 12 months for that product, right? Yes, so the financier, the third-party financier steps in and take the
car leasing.
Yes, exactly. So they step in and take the remaining 9 months or so and just make it. So we are still, the product launch at the event on the 17th. We have almost 3,000 downloads, right now across iOS and Apple Play Store, Google Play, So we have positive reviews already on the store marketplace. So we are excited about it because we believe it's the future. We believe that Africans need credit, Nigerians need credit, but they need credit that is systematic, credit that is not just, again, making money available to you to spend anyhow, but also credit that puts you in check. Credit that allows you to be disciplined and allow you to meet your needs, not just wants. Yes. I want this, let me get it. No, it's credit that allows you to meet your need. And that credit is not where somebody is giving you money. It's not loan. Or somebody is giving you credit card where you have access to the credit card and you can buy anything. No, come on the platform. What do you need? Select what you need. Go through verification, meet the requirements, and then get it, and then make payments and all of that. But there is our unique value proposition in all of this is also, giving interest-free credits to the customer. So based on every purchase you make on the Fair app, we automatically give you an interest-free credit, additional interest-free credit. So if you do a purchase of 500K, you are eligible to about, I think 55K interest-free credit, which you'll find in your small credit wallet,
So
which can set you up for the next.
being on the platform.
Yes. Then in the next purchase, you are not thinking of, oh, I don't have down payment, or I don't have enough down payment. You can take advantage of the credit, interest-free credit that we are giving you, and you can use it to buy your next item. And when you are paying it back, there's no interest on it. But you can't get that credit unless you buy something or you make your initial purchase on the platform.
Beautiful. So Tunde, before we round up, very important for me is there are issues with business. There are issues with business globally. You are scaling up beyond Nigeria, clearly. But there are issues. You've gone through issues. You've gone through obstacles. We would like you to share, every entrepreneur we have here always shares either the worst or one that is the most interesting or could be helpful. You can just put us through one of those challenges, and because we don't want people to think it's all dandy. It's never all dandy. So for some people it's people, for some people it's funding, for some people it's the economy, it's policies. Can you just put us through? You might not be direct, but just let us know the sort of things that you see as hurdles and how you've been able to overcome them. I think that's very important.
So we talk about vulnerability, right? And I think one of the best things in life is where you can find experiences that people have undergone and take from those experiences and use it to navigate your own way so that you don't fall in the same pit. They say experience is the best teacher when it's not your own.
Exactly.
When it's not your own, because you don't have to go through the same thing when you can learn from others, right? We've gone through, as a company, we've gone through different phases, different challenges, right? But I think the biggest for me is one that speaks to even fundamentals of business, right? They say, don't change a working model. Only change it when you can see that the market is going in a different, you have a foresight to see that, there's a different direction where this market is going. So you are making changes to your model in order to prepare for but general principle, fundamental in business, don't change a working model. For buy small, we have our success model, which is acquiring ready-built properties, right? Because of the type of model, it's an investment product. An investment product that we are providing guaranteed rent on, and we want people to be able to see the result in real time, But we switched the model too early. We're acquiring off-plan properties, and a lot of our capital went into those off-plan property. What it meant is that the typical buyers that we have targeted as we have identified as our target market, that's off-plan property is not attractive to them anymore, even though it might cost them less, but the investment as an investment product, they can't generate rent on it quickly or immediately and all of that, right? So that really put a huge pressure on the company, whereby, and then considering that you are now doing it in a very unstable market, unstable economy, so it means that you are exposed to the market volatility pretty much, right? Appreciation, devaluation of the currency, cost of materials and all of that. So that has really, it was a major dent on us as a company, because a lot of the capital we poured into that lost value because of the wait period. And it's a big lesson that I've learned, that stay with a working model, because all those money, we had just used it at that point to buy ready-built assets, would have flipped the money 3, 4, 5 times, right? And grown even though it's buy small is still very active and doing what it wants to do, which is give people access to home ownership and lower the barrier. But we'll be in a better place today, Again, thankfully, when you go through those challenges, they also, apart from the lesson you learn from them, they also put you in a place of thinking of what is the next thing, what problem do I need to solve for, and I think that's somehow, some way, evolved us into what we have today, where it's fair up a new product as well. It's just really thinking of, okay, we've entered this, we are trying to solve it, we are solving it, but what else around and what is next really?
Yes. I think problems, I think one of the things I always push is that there's things that issues and problems do to you, kind of like navigates you to think differently. It also helps you to go through it certain pathway, say God is trying to like just lead you somewhere and you are stubborn on it, so it's a way to just give you that tap on the back and then direct you. So Tunde, thanks a lot for coming through.
Thank you.
For us, we're grateful that such an experience is something that we feel that those that are coming up can understand and relate to. So we're very grateful to have you around. Thank you very much.
Thank you.